Jacob sits down behind his computer and launches Steam. His eyes glance over the hundreds of games in his library, with hundreds of hours put in to almost half of them. He sighs and stares at his computer screen for a few minutes. So many games and so many choices. Jacob impulsively bought many new games on the recent Halloween sale on Steam, and now he slowly starts to regret that. He hasn't finished or even started many of his older games. Buying new games is not the only regret that Jacob feels. He knows that he should be doing more with his life. Finding a job, moving out of his parents' house, getting into a relationship, finding friends, and developing new skills and hobbies. However, Jacob can't seem to stop playing video games, the thing that takes up most of his time and holds him back from achieving his true potential. I've already put thousands of hours into these games. I can't just not play them. I can't delete my Steam account. I've already spent so much money on it. It would be such a waste. What about all the future video games that will be coming out? I want to play those too. This irrational thought pattern is called sunk cost fallacy, and it is the fact that most of us are more likely to invest more time, money, and energy into something if we have already put in some time, energy, and money before, even if we don't think it's a good idea. Cognitive biases like the sunk cost fallacy and loss aversion, which I'll discuss more in depth soon, can directly influence us to play video games more than we want to. There is a way to avoid these influences though, which happens by creating healthy thought patterns. So in this video, I will teach you how to do exactly that. In psychology, a cognitive bias is a go-to thought process our mind can jump to. It's a form of irrational thinking, a trick our minds can play on us. It's similar to having automatic thoughts, which is also a form of irrational thought that allows a person to shortcut their perception of an event by bringing either positive or negative emotion. Now, there are many forms of cognitive bias, but the two we will focus on in this video are the sunk cost fallacy and loss aversion, because these biases can be part of the reason why you can't quit or moderate your gaming. So let's start with the already mentioned sunk cost fallacy. Simply put, if you already put time or energy into a thing, you will struggle to let go of that thing, even if you know that it's not good for you to keep spending more energy or time on it. So for example, if you play CSGO and you've already spent a bunch of money on skins, but you decide you actually want to do more productive things with your time and not play the game anymore, will you still play it? If the decision was entirely up to you, I wouldn't even have to ask this question because it's so obvious. You don't want to play anymore. But the sunk cost fallacy bias makes you avoid rational thinking and go straight to the automatic answer of course I will play it. I already spent money on it. The problem with this is that it's not what you actually want to do, but you are being influenced by decisions you made in the past, like buying skins because you wanted your AK to look a different color.
Oh my God! Wow!
Even though you didn't realize a few months later, that decision will lead to other problems like not wanting to let go of your shiny weapon to go live the life of your dreams. Okay, so once you are aware of the potential problems, you still choose to play instead of looking for opportunities and benefits that not playing could give you. That's why the sunk cost fallacy bias goes hand in hand with the loss aversion bias, the tendency to prefer avoiding losses to acquiring equivalent or even better gains. So not only do you keep playing because you've already spent money on your games or your skins, but quitting would also mean experiencing loss in terms of items, characters, and games. So as crazy as it sounds, even though the benefits you will gain of more time to be spent with family and friends, more time in the beautiful nature of the world, maybe actual money in real life to pursue things like travel, new hobbies, or a sense of financial freedom, a loving relationship, and so much more. Even though these benefits you will gain far exceed the very minor losses you are worried about, cognitively, your mind will still distort this fact, and you'll keep playing games to avoid losing your shiny colored virtual weapon. I mean, it's insane when you think about it. So be aware that cognitive biases are nothing more than your brain trying to irrationally cope with the perceived losses of your time and money, when in reality, there is so much more to gain by spending your time in different ways. All right, so here's what you need to do to shift that automatic thinking and create healthy thought patterns instead. The thing that separates your ability to be in full control of yourself from blindly following cognitive biases is awareness. If you don't catch yourself whenever you are experiencing automatic thoughts and actually think about whether what you are thinking is true or not, you will never get rid of that "I already put time into this, so I won't stop or limit" mentality. So the first step is to notice and become aware, especially in the moment if you can. The second step is to analyze these irrational thought patterns and separate the facts from emotions. Fact: you already spent some money, time, and energy on buying this video game and playing it. You will not gain that money or that time back. Emotion: but I will lose money and all the hours I put into the video game. Fact. You already lost all of those things, and the only way you can improve or stop yourself from having these losses again is to stop or limit gaming and not continue to spend more money and more time on future games. If you approach your thoughts in this way, you will be able to differentiate between the emotional thought patterns and the rational ones, which can really help you make better decisions. For instance, you can consider the $100 you spent on the Steam sale as the money you invested in the fun you had playing the games that you did up until this point. The $100 wasn't to buy and play 400 games. It was to buy the 2 games you got and 398 other games that just happened to be included. Of course, the $100 you think you will lose by not playing games is actually a $100 investment you are making in your future self. For example, if I said to you right now, you could pay me $100 and get the girl of your dreams, you'd be asking me where you pay. You'd be whipping out your credit card so fast, it wouldn't even be funny. But yet, you're gonna keep playing games because you spent $100 on a Steam sale to avoid the possibility of actually getting your life together to actually meet the partner of your dreams. I mean, it sounds like nonsense. Okay, so the main way you can stop these automatic thoughts from occurring in the future is to create alternative thoughts. These alternative thoughts will allow you to replace the irrational brain patterns of cognitive biases and automatic thinking. So here's an example. In the example, the balanced rational thought could be, I fully understand the emotional and rational decision making in buying or playing video games, and I fully control the decision to either do it or not. As you can see, you want to find yourself thinking balanced and rational alternative thoughts instead of just leaving your subconscious to do the automatic thinking for you, which is often driven by emotion. Now, of course, this all sounds good and makes sense, but to go back to the start of the video, cognitive biases put us in an emotional state. So one of the biggest things you can remember in the moment when you are having irrational thoughts is to remember that you are in an emotional state. By being aware of this, you can decide not to make any decisions until you've given yourself enough time to actually calm down from that emotional trigger. You can go for a walk, go hit the gym, or even journal about the thoughts that you're having. Although your emotions can seem intense in the moment, you don't need to act on them. And instead, maybe be curious. Where is the thought coming from? And what is an alternative instead? For example, the $100 you spent on the Steam sale was actually an investment in you coming to the epiphany that gaming is a waste of time and you want to pursue self-improvement instead. So if you create the alternative thought successfully, the next time you are faced with the sunk cost fallacy or loss aversion biases, it will be a lot easier for you to know what the right thing is and be able to make the right decision. Now, cognitive biases and irrational thought patterns are only one of a few ways that our brain tricks us into playing games more than we want to. So to understand how gaming really impacts our brain, watch this video.